Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to all the geeks out there and all the geekdom, and welcome to the very first Forza Horizon 5 Showcase, otherwise known as the Car Showcase, which is where we show off all the cars in Forza Horizon 5. Yes, Forza Horizon. I know, it's strange, I'm a Gran Turismo person, but that's coming. Just chill, that's coming. Anyway, we're going to get right into it right now. So, today we're going to be doing one of my favorite cars, actually, one of my ultimate favorites, and whenever I play a racing game, I have to have this car. We're going to be doing the Mazda RX8, but with a little difference. This one here is the Mazda RX8 R3, which is one of the variants of the Mazda. Essentially, the RX8 it's one of the earlier ones. Through the mid-cycle, I'd say, is when it came up. But the car was this particular R3 was designed in 2011, which is quite awesome. So it's a young car, but an old car at the same time, if that makes any kind of sense to you. But you're going to see that how this car handles around corners and things like that. It's quite good. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later. All right. So obtaining this car is not very difficult at all. So as you jump into the game, as most of you will know, some of you guys have already started the game, and if you haven't, what happens is you start with a certain selection of cars, none of which are the RX8. Unfortunately, you don't get to pick this car. You have to buy it later on. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go through a couple of races. It doesn't take long, just a few races. You'll earn some credits. In-game credits are basically race credits. So it's like any racing game where if you win the race, you get a certain amount of credits. It goes into your pocket. You can buy the vehicle. The vehicle is 35,000 credits, and that's for the base model, the absolute base model. So you'll start out with the RX8 as standard as possible, and basically you'll start from there. Takes a couple of minutes to do. It's easy as that, and you got your car. All you have to do is you go through to the store, the race store. They show you where that is in the beginning of the game. The great thing about Forza is they do actually show you where everything is. So they'll guide you through where to purchase your cars and how to purchase the cars. You start at the event, that's where you can purchase your cars. And some of the perks this car has. The Mazda RX8, as some of you may know, is one of the most powerful cars for a 1.3 liter engine. So you can put this up against any 1.3 liter engine and it will annihilate it. So you already know that being a Venkel rotary engines are a lot more powerful than others. So some of the perks that this car has is it's got a very good top speed, which means you can get to top speeds quite quickly. The acceleration on these vehicles is quite good. Once you do a little bit of tuning and work on it, you'll be able to actually get it to go quite nicely, but you do have to do a little bit of work on the car to get its acceleration. Its launch is not so good. The launch can be kind of iffy if you don't know what you're doing, and some of the guys I've seen, they've got a very good launch on the RX8, but unfortunately I haven't been able to get a good launch for it. But overall, if you do a drag race with one of these cars, if you get a good launch, you might be, or even a standard launch, you should be able to get a good acceleration towards the end of the track. So definitely one of the perks is the acceleration and the speed. Handling, it's a rear wheel drive, so that's up to you. It depends on how you like to handle a rear wheel drive. Honestly, I think that the car only handles better once you've upgraded some of the steering and braking, basically the suspension and the braking on the vehicle. Then some of the handling gets a bit easier, because going around corners can be quite iffy if you don't know what you're doing. So you've got to slow down quite a lot before you can go around corners. But with the acceleration, that sort of makes up for your slowing down a lot. Your acceleration kind of makes up for it. Off-road, they say that this car is good for off-road. I've never tested it, so there I can't help you. Personally, I wouldn't take an RX8 off-road anywhere unless you want to land up with, no axles and your drive shaft ripped off. Then go for it. But that's in reality. In this game, I'm sure you can take it off-road easily. But yeah, so it starts out as a B class. You can get it up to S class, but it takes a lot of work on your side. You have to be able to work it yourself. And you can find some good builds as well, which can help you build it essentially. So as you know, cars have pros and they have cons. Unfortunately, the cons for the Mazda, there are a few. Again, I mentioned it earlier, the handling for the car, it can be very iffy. For example, if you over accelerate, the car will spin out very quickly. So try not to do that. When you do, if you do go around a corner, try not to accelerate while going around the corner. The car will spin out. It's not built to do that, unfortunately. The rear wheel, unless you are very good at controlling the vehicle, controlling a vehicle that it starts to spin. If you can drift around a corner, these cars are designed to do that kind of stuff, so that's not a bad thing. But I warn you, handling is one of the very iffy things about most rear-wheel drive cars. That includes the RX8, RX7. Most of them are the same. The rear-wheel drive is what actually bites the car. Deceleration, if you don't change anything, is very bad. The deceleration is not good. So if you let go of the accelerator, the car will basically not decelerate as well, and you'll slam into a wall, for example. So try not to do that. Like I said, once you do a couple of upgrades to the car, it makes a big difference. Especially if you drop the engine out and you put a B20 in, that does help a lot, because the B20's deceleration seems to work quite nicely. B20 being the 2 liter rotary engine instead of the 1.3. Now you can only imagine how fast that is. But this is the con side of things. Secondly, you want to change the wheel size, and more than likely the camber, because that does play a big part. Off the bat, the camber is not great, so that's what actually tends to make you understeer rather than oversteer, because sometimes you'd like to oversteer. That's where obviously using the rear-wheel drive to spin the back out helps, but not always, because that slows you down, as you guys know. Alright, so what we did with my car was we added a few things to the car, obviously, because you need to upgrade your car to get it to make it better to race with. So what I did was I changed the restrictor plates. I didn't put restrictor plates on, that's just stupid. I changed the restrictor plates so that the car's acceleration go faster. I'm not going to explain all this crap though, but anyway, that's how that worked. Then what I did was I changed a couple of the smaller things that you need to actually change. Your brakes, I added race brakes instead of your standard brakes. You don't want anything else. I didn't want anything else, should I say. I also installed drift dampers, or drift springs and dampers. Sorry, my brain stopped working there for a second. I also added roll bars for both the front and the back, both of them be anti-roll bars, sorry, both for the back, for the rear and the front of the car. Weight reduction, very important. I did a full weight reduction, that is everything out of the car. Great for racing. I then changed out the drivetrain. Drivetrain is very important. You want to have a fast car, you need a good drivetrain. I changed it over to a 10-speed a 10-speed gearing system, transmission as it were. I changed the drive line to an all-wheel. After changing the car to an all-wheel drive, I changed the drive line as well. A lighter drive line is a good thing to have. I then changed out the limited slip differential. I changed that over to a race diff. I also have a drifting diff in case I want to go drift with this car. Right, I changed the wheels out as well. I have 2 sets of wheels. I have treaded wheels and I have slicks. I had treaded, as both of them will come in handy for either weather condition. I then also changed out all of the aerodynamics on the car, which means the front bumpers, the rear bumpers, and the spoiler. All of that were changed to make the car a little more handleable around corners, which is always good. And last but not least, I also dropped the engine out from a standard 1.3 litre engine to the 2.6 litre 4-rotor engine. And I changed the drivetrain right out from a rear-wheel drive to an all-wheel drive. That makes this car go really fast. Really, really fast. I know I've adjusted the camber there. I'm just trying to see if the camber's going to help me with the corners. It might. Not necessarily with acceleration, but definitely with cornering. Well, yeah, already the cornering's feeling better. The fact that I can actually go around the corner now without veering too far to the right or left is actually quite a good thing. Maybe it was the camber that's throwing the car off a bit. Seriously, dude? You brake like an idiot like that. Seriously? Okay, yes, I'm braking a bit hard there. The camber's still not great, but it's better. Yeah, I've lost 3 times already, so I wouldn't be surprised if I lose again. front of me, you dickhead. Yeah, it is a typical fucking Audi driver. I wish you would stop braking in the stupidest points. Asshole. That's for running me off the road, dickhead. Come on. Yes, I can do it. I can do it. And fucking won, finally. My car's fucked, but I won. What? Alright, so the overall score for the car now, obviously I'm not good at scoring cars. I'm not like some of these car channels. I don't do the whole scoring of cars. I like driving cars, not scoring cars, but I'll score the car nonetheless. I'll score all the cars from my own personal opinion and how I feel the car is. The Mazda, with its control, does take a couple of points off. Even with the upgrades and the changes to the car, it still loses a couple of points because it is not as controllable as some of the other cars in the game. So I bring it down to about 7.5 brake pads, which is a decent score. It's not perfect, it's not great, it's not the fastest car in the game, but it is definitely worth a drive. Like I said, it's one of my favorite cars, so I may have a bit of a bias on that one. But again, it's a good score to give the car. It gives it a decent overall. You guys should give it a try. Definitely give it a try. I would suggest with a controller though. You don't want to try this with a keyboard and mouse. The car is impossible to control like that. But definitely give the car a go in the game. You'll see. It's nice. It's got some perks to it. Alright guys, so that is the video. That is everything I can showcase about from my side. That's everything I can showcase about this Mazda. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it has been one of the crowning moments of the SA Geeks, at least something that I can say I've done for you guys. But nonetheless, if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up and tell me what you've done to your car. If you got an RX7, RX8, tell me what you did to your car. Tell me how you managed to get it to a higher score than my car is. I want to know, because then I can do that to my car too. Steal your ideas. But anyway guys, thanks so much for watching, and as always, remember, keep it geeky!